We'd all love to quit our day jobs and just be VTubers full-time, playing games, singing songs, and generally enjoying life while we earn a living doing it. But what does that actually mean? What does it take to make that dream a reality? If you're serious about making VTubing your full-time job, or even just a solid part-time income, you're in the right place. I've done all the difficult math for you, and if you stick around until the end, I'll share a free tool that I created. It lets you do your own calculations and set your goals, or even estimate how much another streamer is making. But a quick side note, how many subscriptions is even enough? 200 seems like a lot, right? And I'd be extremely happy with that. However, the truth behind the math might surprise you, so stick around for a full breakdown of what this means for your income and every level of success in between. Income can be a tricky thing, so let's set the stage. We're focusing on consistent, reliable, and significant income only. That means no ad revenue. It's literal pennies unless you're huge, with YouTube averaging about $18 per 1,000 ad views. And donations, too random to count on, so if it's not reliable, it's out. We'll look at monthly and yearly income using US figures for simplicity, and we're going to assume that you meet all the streaming platforms' criteria for those earnings. Taxes won't be included since they vary widely depending on where you live, and to keep it simple, we're narrowing down it to Twitch and YouTube, and we're aligning YouTube memberships to Twitch for consistency. And a quick disclaimer, I am not your tax advisor or an income specialist, so don't point at me when the tax man comes for you. Before diving into the numbers, let's look at the platforms that we're analyzing. Twitch uses a complex weighted point system called the Plus program, where Tier 1 subs earn you 1 point, Tier 2 earn you 2 points, and Tier 3 earn you 6 points. And your revenue split improves as you gain these points. 50-50 is the default. You get 60-40 at 100 points and 70-30, actually it should be 70-40, right? No, 7, 8, 9, 10, no, we're right. I can't math. I shouldn't be doing a math video if I can't math. YouTube, on the other hand, keeps it simple. A flat 70-30 split for everybody that's monetized. It also offers up 6 subscription tiers that you can customize, starting at 99 cents, which makes subs more flexible and affordable. But for consistency, I've aligned YouTube subscriptions to match Twitch's 3 tiers for this analysis. But remember, you have way more options on YouTube, and the revenue split is better, especially for somebody who's a smaller VTuber who would get 50-50 on Twitch. Earlier, I brought up 200 subs because it sounds like a lot. But what does it really mean income-wise? Since we're playing by Twitch's tiers, if we split this up as 100 Tier 1, 80 Tier 2, and 20 Tier 3, you'll be making about $15,000 a year, $13,000 if these were all Tier 1. And again, it sounds like a lot, but as untaxed income, you're not going to get all of that. And at best, this income is a side gig. You'll be working a regular job of some sort. But with that example completed, it brings up the question, what does it take to make this full-time income? And here is where the math gets interesting. Anything below $30,000 annually is considered poverty. So just to cross that $30,000 barrier into lower middle class, you'll need 425 subs. 250 Tier 1, 135 Tier 2, and 40 Tier 3 subs, or 720 Tier 1 only. Middle class starts at 58,000, and you'll need 770 subs. 450 are Tier 1, 220 Tier 2, and 100 Tier 3, or 1,390 Tier 1 only. Upper middle class starts at 94K, and you're going to need 1,250 subs. 700 are Tier 1, 400 are Tier 2, and 150 are Tier 3, or 2,250 Tier 1 only. And to hit upper class, which is anything above $150,000 a year, you're looking at 2,150 subs. 1,250 are Tier 1, 700 are Tier 2, and 200 are Tier 3, or 3,660 Tier 1 only subscriptions. And I know it's a lot to take in, a ton of numbers, right? But I want to help you make smart decisions about your future. So what I'm doing is giving you access to the tool that I built so I could do all the math and make this video for you. And if you stick around to the end, I'm going to teach you how to use it. And I promise it's as simple as plugging in a few numbers, and I'm doing all the heavy lifting for you. It's just going to give you an output, give you a number, and that's it. So stay tuned. Sadly, as with any income, you have to consider things like taxes and cost of living. Plus, being a VTuber comes with extra expenses that we need to account for. But before diving into those VTuber-specific costs, let's quickly cover the basics that apply to anyone who's streaming. At a minimum, you're going to need a decent computer that's capable of handling both your game and your streaming software, which can cost about $1,000 to $2,000. Add a good microphone for $100 and a webcam for $70. These are the basic non-negotiable essentials just to get you started, regardless of your style of streaming. So this is roughly about $1,700 if we take some averages, and that's if you had none of these things to start with. For PNG tubers, the costs are relatively low. A simple character artwork setup with basic expressions might cost you around $50 to $300. If you use free tools or affordable software like VTube, whatever it is, if you're using those types of things, you're good to go with minimal additional investment. For 2D VTubers, there's the initial investment of your character design and a rigged model. A decent one can set you back about $500 to $2,000. And updates or new outfits can cost about the same, depending on how your model is set up, what file types you received, and the agreement with your mama or papa. For 3D VTubers, costs are even higher. Custom models can reach $5,000 or more, and you may need some additional hardware like motion trackers or Leap Motion, adding another $100 to $500. Update costs follow the same logic as 2D, so it's situational. Additionally, all VTubers often commission artwork to maintain fan engagement on social platforms, adding ongoing costs. And even if you are an artist yourself, that's still a significant time investment. Speaking from experience, these costs stack up quickly, so planning ahead is key. Making VTubing your full-time career isn't easy, but it is not impossible. By understanding your income potential and factoring in all the costs, you can set realistic goals and build a sustainable plan. And to help with that, here's that special tool that I promised. All right, and finally, the tool that you've all been waiting for, the one that I created just to do all the difficult math for this video. It's on my website, link is in the description, but once you're there, just scroll down until you can see the spreadsheet. And don't be intimidated, you only have to change a few things. All of the difficult math is done for you. So only thing you have to update is your sub numbers for Twitch in purple and YouTube in red, and that's it. It's going to spit out what your monthly is, what your yearly is. It's going to break it down per platform if you're on both, and yeah, it gives you all of the fancy numbers and income brackets all on its own. It also will tell you in the top right, if you're doing Twitch, what plus program level, aka your revenue split, do you qualify for. And remember, this you have to maintain for 3 months consecutively to earn it, but it will tell you. And we're just going to assume that you get it for 3 months. So as an example, let's do 100, 80, and 20 like I mentioned earlier. See what the 200 subs were. And as you can see, monthly I'm getting about $1,300, yearly $15,000, but I'm still in poverty. But I did qualify for that 70-30 split, so that's something, right? And you can do the same thing by going down, and if you're streaming on both YouTube and Twitch, you can add the two together pretty easily. So let's say we have the same thing on YouTube, and they're 70-30 by default, so it's going to double everything up, and yay, we're outside of poverty, we're in lower middle class now, congrats. But hey, Taxman's going to take a chunk of that, so it's going to knock you back down. But you can see how easy this is to use, and if you wanted to add donations in via YouTube called supers. There's different varieties of it, stickers and chats. You can just add that in. Like if I got $500 period for a month, let's say it's consistent because this is calculating monthly by default. Yay, I got a little bit more. I got about $4,000 more. So wonderful. But it's got to be consistent. That's why I did not include it in any of my math, because if I get a donation, it's probably one-off. I'm rambling now. But yes, that's exactly how you use it. It's super simple. And if you need to reset it, because this is a public document, if somebody else is editing, you're going to see what they do. And if they leave it in a state like I walked away from this, you're going to see where I left off. You just have to follow what's in the green and just put all these back to 0. And then put your own numbers in. So just 0, 0, 0. And that's already 0. So yay, we're back to nothing. So then we would just start again. But that's how it works. Super simple. I hope you enjoy it. And please do share the video to others who may find this useful. My advice for those just starting out is to start as a PNG tuber. It's a low-cost investment, and it allows you time to figure out what you want to do and be long-term. Plus, if you try it for a while and decide it's not for you, or life takes you in some other direction, you're not down a ton of money just for trying out VTubing. It's easier to start small and work upward versus going all in at the start and things not going how you expect, and then bills and rent are at risk. A final thought before we wrap things up is that I do not intend to discourage anyone with this video. Instead, I want you to be informed, to make proper decisions, and avoid the hardships that I've been through, like going all in on being an artist, going to conventions, sitting at Artist Alley, spending a bunch of money to try and make money, only to struggle financially and barely make rent. And before you go, stay with me just a little bit longer by watching one of the recommended videos you see on the screen. And at very least, hit subscribe while you're here so I can see you again sometime soon. Later, my Kitsuten.